ॐ आनन्दमयी चैतन्यमयी सत्यमयी परमे Om Sri Aurobindo Mira is my refuge. Good evening, Namaste, Vande Mataram, welcome all of you. The topic to be discussed this evening is on symbolic significance of serpents. We see many types of snakes, king cobra, nagas, and all. Many even small snakes we see as visions. In our visions, actually they appear. So, in the wordings of Sri Aurobindo, as explained by Sri Aurobindo about the significance of these serpents, snakes, we are going to have a little brief discussion, almost a quarter an hour discussion on this brief topic, on this great topic, the significance. On this significance, we have to discuss on these different significances as significant formations it is formed in our yogic life, and how Sri Aurobindo quotes it, tries to explain us. So that is the thing we want to see it in our discussion now. Sri Aurobindo quotes the snake. It is, the lizards we have already seen in different names, different forms. Some are actually very much dangerous, poisonous. Some are, of course, this atmosphere friendly, environmental friendly. So we know that very that quarrel of the mangrove and snake, it is there. The quarrel between the birds like Garuda and these snakes, it is there. And in snake, we have seen many times Shiva, Lord Shiva bearing the snake. We have seen, and of course Vishnu lying on the Ananta. We have seen. So significantly, we have seen that Kaliya Dalana, of course, seen Krishna is on the hooded Kaliya Naga. We have seen. So sometimes it is sattvic, sometimes it is rajasic, sometimes it is tamasic. In different ways, in different Vedic times also it has been described in different ways, different formats, in different language, in different types, of course. Now, whatever we are going to discuss, it is from the Sri Aurobindo's quotings and explanation from Sri Aurobindo we'll see. The snake indicates some types of energy. Already we see a snake indicates the some kind of energy. Often are bad, most of the time often are bad, and it is also indicates some luminous or divine energy. Of course, luminous and divine energy we find in the forms of snake. Anyway, this is indicating energy. In this experience, sometimes when we find the snake in our symbolic significance, we see snakes in our vision, and we get also some clues with this. In this experience, it is the ascent of the force from the physical upwards. Upwards, ascent of the physical upwards we find with the awakening of the snake when it is moving and wheeling upwards. The other details are not clear anyway, but the thing is that when we are getting the awakening, snake is actually rising up. It is the significance means experience ascent of some force from the physical upwards. Again, the serum clarifies or explains beautifully. The serpent is a symbol of forces. We know that serpent, so this is a symbol of force. Very often hostile or evil force of the vital plane. We have seen very much hostile and evil force in the vital plane. Then the scenario we have seen, it is we have seen the either in the sea, with the colors like different colors. So what it signifies here in the course, sea is the symbol of plane of consciousness. When we see, we find sea in our vision, it is symbolizing the planes of consciousness. The white light is manifestation of the pure divine force descending from one of the truth planes leading to the supramental. So we find the scenario along with the snake. We find something interrelated, something related symbols we find here. The shows here in the course, serpent is the symbol of force, very often hostile and evil force in the vital plane. When we find C inside, along with it, it is the plane of consciousness. White light also we find these are the manifestation of the pure divine force descending from one of the truth planes leading to the supramental, leading us to the supramental. That is a very good sign. Anyway, opening of the hood, we find a snake with a opening hood. Indicates the victorious or successful activity of the energy indicated by the snake. Very interesting. Opening hood with opening, it indicates victorious or successful activity of the energy indicated by the snake. Again, the serpent with the hood. Many times we find serpent with the hood over the head, generally indicates future siddhi. We find over the head snake that open with the open and raised head. That is actually here in the quotes here indicates the future siddhi. Cobra, king cobra, we find symbol of energy and nature, higher energy in nature. Upraised hood, when the hood is upraised, and a light illumine indicates, all these indicate illumination and the victorious position of the emerged energy. So that is a very beautiful significance, illumination and the victorious position when we find cobra with upraised hood and the light. So this is the great significance it bears. So again, serpent is the energy. We find Mahakali force is descended in you through the serpent. So the serpent is energy from the above working in the vital, answering to the serpent Kundalini. Already we have little bit discussed that Kundalini. That higher force is coming. Different chakras are there inside our body. So at the end, at the Muladhara, this is Kundalini is sleeping. So it is actually in the passive stage. It has all it contains all entire energy, but actually it's in the passive stage, in the sleeping stage, inactive. So this higher force has to descend inside. It has to activate it. It has to energize it so that this energy will move upwards. That is the criteria. The energy from the working in the vital answering to the serpent Kundalini, which rises from below. The white fire, many times we find the white power, fire of aspiration. Very beautiful, very interesting definition. White fire, or that to be known, fire of aspiration. Sometimes we find the red fire, that is the fire of renunciation of tapasya. Red. White is the fire of aspiration. Red fire, renunciation and tapasya. Sometimes we find the blue fire, that is the fire of spirituality and the spiritual knowledge, which purifies and dispels the ignorance. That is the great criteria, and we must take care of when this color of this. While discussing in Kundalini about the color of the fire, we find these are the significance. I will quote it again. White fire, the fire of aspiration. Red fire, fire of renunciation of one and tapasya. Blue fire, fire of spirituality and spiritual knowledge that purifies and dispels the ignorance. So, serpent again is the symbol of energy that already we have seen and we have heard a couple of times. Especially the Kundalini Shakti, which is the divine force coiled up in the lowest physical center, Muladhara. Already we have seen in that, that is the divine force coiled up in the lowest physical, that is in the Muladhara chakra. When it rises, it is now in passive, it is in the sleeping condition, inactive. When it rises with the descent of this force, the supreme force, it goes up through the spine and joins the higher consciousness above. That is the significance. Through spines, it moves, it rises, it moves, and joins the higher consciousness above. Energies are of all kinds. The snakes can be also symbolize, they can also symbolize evil powers of the unregenerate vital power nature. So these are also one aspect. It is very interesting energy. Another aspect, they also symbolize the evil powers of the unregenerate vital nature. Again, we'll go that lotus. Sometimes we find lotus when describing this the scenario. Waters also we see find also see they are also dwelling inside the water. Also find we find they are also floating, swimming in the water. Lotus is the symbol of the opening of the centers to the light, as lotus opens like this. The swan in the Indian symbol is the individual soul of the central being, the divine part which is turned towards the divine, descending from there and ascending to it. That is the same thing we have seen. Two serpents we find there, interlaced, and are the two channels in the spine through which the Shakti moves upward. Already we have seen that through the spine it moves up and joins the higher consciousness, higher sphere. The serpent with the six hoods is the Kundalini Shakti. We have seen the six hoods. Serpent with the six hoods is it is signifying the Kundalini Shakti at large. It is in, of course, it is in clear letters. So the divine power asleep in the lowest physical center in the Muladhara, awakened in the yoga, the awakening for the awakening, the only process is the yoga. Ascends in light through the opening centers to meet the divine in the highest center. Rises up through spine, it connects, it joins the divine in the highest center, and so connect to the manifest and unmanifested. So connect the manifest and the unmanifested, joining spirit with matter. That is the good, very good significance as signified frequently we have seen. Already we have seen, we saw that connection of these spiders, snakes with lords. Narayana is usually taken the name of Vishnu. To Vaishnavas, it is very from Vishnu that Vaishnava cult has evolved, emerged. He is the supreme, as Shiva is the supreme for Saiva. Vaishnava from Vishnu, Saiva from Shiva. Both are the cosmic personalities of the divine, both like Brahma, their original place in the overmind, although they take different forms of the human consciousness in the mind, vital, or subtle physical planes. So, they signify Brahma, Vishnu, and Mysore. One is creator, one is actually taking care, one is a destroyer. But they are actually overmind gods, not supramental. Anyway, they have got occupied the highest position. Even the goddesses, Lakshmi usually golden, not white. Saraswati is white. The snake is simply a symbol of energy or power. Narayana, we have seen in the vision, we see many times in the Vishnu clearly, vision, that is Vishnu. So presence of Lakshmi and a single-hooded snake, already we see that is actually overhead consciousness. Vishnu or Narayana image, which is normal Puranic image of the Lord of waters of space and time. So Nara, that is signifying water. Preserver of the principle of the universe, maintains the seed in itself. So while creation from the navel, he creates a Brahma. So Brahma, then Brahma is the creator, rises, and it arises in the lotus cosmic consciousness, which grows from it, and the Vishnu awakes in the intercyclic sleep. That is the significance. Snake Ananta, already we have discussed, is the energy of the cosmic manifestation in the infinite space and time. So this, what is the significance of this snake Ananta? Is the infinity energy in infinite space time which supports the universe, and the Lord Vishnu Narayana is lying on it. About the snake, we have seen in meditation sometimes we find, but always the energies of nature that vary upon the energies of the vital plane. So, luminous and divine energies like snake of Vishnu we find, Kaliyodalana also we find, Anantanaga we find, sometimes actually Satyuk, Tamasik or Rajasik it is there. Lotus flower indicates the opening of consciousness. Red, presence of the divine on the earth. The sun, divine truth, it indicates the divine manifestation. So, different ways we find the different symbols. Thank you.